Welcome at A to Z Sports Prime Time. A little early in the afternoon here in Tampa Bay. We're happy to have you from the lovely downtown Courtyard Marriott in Tampa. Joint camp was today with the Titans and the Bucks, and we are here to react to it because I thought that Cam Ward raised his game in an impressive way throughout the course of this practice, and that's just kind of the progress report. Every day that we talk about this quarterback is a progress report, right? Every single day, there is something that he can learn from, something that he can improve upon, and you hope to see the dividends of that daily progression, even though it's incremental, right? It's like when you're around somebody for so much time and that maybe they're losing weight or maybe they're gaining weight, but you don't physically notice their day-to-day change, even though they are day-to-day changing. And you see a picture of them after the fact or a couple months, if a couple months have passed between the first picture that you took and the last time you took a photograph together, and you're like, a totally different person from the person that I thought they were in my brain. That's the kind of thing that you're looking for from the daily progression with Cam Ward. A lot of you are asking about the time. It is the definition of any time with Buck Rising tonight, except it's not even tonight. It's 5:30 here. But I've got a bunch of stuff that I have to do today. We're taping with Brian Callahan at the team hotel for the radio show tomorrow. I've got a couple of different things that I have to do here in Tampa before the game on Saturday. We got Lee Company countdown to kickoff prep that we got going on. So I do appreciate you guys being flexible with me. And as long as we give you guys the content, we try to keep it pretty consistent at 7 p.m. But when I'm on the road, there are no rules. So we did decide that prime time was the definition, or that prime time would be anytime tonight. We should probably make an anytime graphic if at some point Robert can just slap a logo over the prime time or slap a sticker over the prime time thing when we do in fact make it anytime. So with all the different things that we have going on with the Titans, Cam Ward raising his game is a huge part of the daily progression. And this was a fantastic opportunity, as will Saturday's game, and then 2 practices in Atlanta, Flowery Branch, technically, next week with the Falcons before we get into the real thing in Denver. And we are getting closer and closer, kids. Today is a month from week 1, a month from the day of week 1 in Denver. Today is the day. In fact, in just a couple of hours, it will be exactly 1 month before the Titans head out to Denver to play their week 1 game. So every rep matters, every opportunity matters, and it's cool to see the way that Cam Ward is taking advantage of these opportunities. Bustin' Diamond on YouTube says, how does our performance against one of the better regarded teams in the NFL feel for the future of this team? I don't want to read too much into that. Chris Godwin didn't practice. Vita Vea didn't practice. Like, it's Bucks are a playoff team when they're got all their pieces and parts, and you didn't have everybody practicing either. But obviously, the Bucks are a playoff team, a division champion. Now, 3 years? Every year that Todd Bowles has been there, they've won the NFC South, which is crazy to think about. But the Bucks have a really high standard. It's one of the more underrated franchises in the NFL. They are incredibly successful that way. They are a championship organization. And they did have Mike Evans practice today. So did Baker, Hassan Reddick. Like, some of their pieces and parts are out there. But I don't want you to read too much into like the idea of, well, how does it feel for the future of this team? I don't know what to tell you about the future of this team. All I can tell you is what Cam Ward did today and how that compares with what Cam Ward has done previously. So we're going to get into that, do a weekend bounce back, and we'll get on with the rest of our evening. Need you to share the broadcast around Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, wherever you're spending your sweet and valuable time with us. Curtis says, how much did you spend on lunch today? I haven't had lunch today. The only thing that I've had, I spent $16 this morning, if you need to know an actual price point, because I do keep my receipts because I send them all back to the people that employ me because I'm not paying for this stuff. Paid $16 today for a parfait and a coffee, and that's all I've had to eat today. So because we did the radio show, we did practice, we did 3HL, I wrote, and oh my God, it's torrential downpour right now in Tampa Bay. It just started because I was planning on walking to get some dinner here before I do the Callahan thing. I guess I guess a walk is out of the question, but it's Florida, so maybe it'll chill out by the time we wrap up with prime time. Anyway, a lot of good things to talk about. We're going to dive into it, share the broadcast around as you are always keen to do. Welcome into A to Z Sports Anytime tonight on the live stream network. I'm your host, Buck Rising, here in Tampa Bay, and I'm proud as always, no matter where I am, to be presented by Two Rivers Ford. They keep me on the road, and they keep your coverage around here possible. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. 0% down right now at Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. Of course, TrueMap Fitness. I'm going to miss my TrueMap day tomorrow because obviously I'm here in Tampa, but I love my workouts, and they give me workouts on the road to make sure that I'm consistent no matter where I am traveling around the country, because I'm getting ready to be all around the country here in the next couple of months. TrueMap Fitness keeps me right. They can do it for you too, whether you're in Nashville or if you sign up for their personal training, you can get the kind of specified training that you can take with you wherever you go. TrueMapFitness.com. Your first workout is free. So with everything that you've got going on with the Titans, Cam Ward's daily progression matters the most. Now, here's what I'll tell you straight up. We only have one day of joint practice with the Bucks. Previous situations, I think we did something like that with the Cardinals at home couple of years ago, where they only had one day of practice. I also think they were dealing with maybe a post-COVID situation where they had a mini outbreak among the team. So they were just trying to, make sure that everybody was right, make sure that everybody was healthy, not trying to dive too much into all of this. But only one day of joint practice with the Bucks, which means that, as opposed to there's three fields. Most NFL teams at their practice facility have three separate fields. And I'd be lying to you if I spent too much time watching the defense today. Now, I did find an advantageous spot between fields 1 and 2, where the Titans defense was working against the Bucks offense, and then the Titans offense was working against the Bucks defense. And so every time Brandon Allen or Tim Boyle would come in, I would turn my attention to the other field, respectfully to those two, because I want to try and watch as much Cam as I can, but also, I want to be aware of what's going on with the defense. And I did see a good amount, but not everything that they did today. So just want to put that disclaimer out into the world. Saw every Cam Ward rep, saw every first team offensive rep, tried to catch as much defense as I can as I was moving around throughout the course of today. But Bork says, I skipped lunch so I can spend $60 on dinner. $60. You can't get a steak for $60. Where do you think I'm eating? $60 at dinner. It's $60 is a cocktail and an appetizer, bud. You need to, especially down here in a great food city. Come on, you know me better than that. Anyway, I think that there are a couple of different things that we need to talk about with Cam specifically and what we saw from him, because what I saw in the first period was bad. I was like, oh, is this how it's going to go today? That's not encouraging, because all three offenses, it was 7-on-7, and I looked around and I said, they're off sync, they're out of kilter or out of sync, off kilter a little bit here, and just not really looking crisp, not really looking clean. All right, new atmosphere, first time against another NFL defense. I know it's 7-on-7, and that's designed for the offense to win. So the fact that they're not winning very much in that first period is like, all right, is this foreshadowing, or are they going to find a way to, come out and they got hit in the mouth early on? Are they going to respond? Previous iterations of Titans teams, previous iterations of Titans quarterbacks get hit in the mouth and they spiral. Most recently last year. This particular quarterback, if he gets challenged or if he gets pressed or if he gets beaten in a certain situation, more often than not, he's going to respond. Or if he can't respond, he's going to work his ass off to try and make sure that he can learn from those mistakes so that the next time it comes around, that he's the one doing the punching as opposed to getting hit. So Cam Ward bounced back throughout the course of practice after a slow start. Thought what I saw from the defense early on, talked to Cody Barton after practice today specifically, he felt it was a little, they were just trying to get their feet under him for a period of practice. I think they ended up having 9 or 10. Well, no, it was more than that. It was probably closer to 12 or 13 periods, individual periods of practice, because they try to simulate a game every practice. 80 plays is kind of the goal that each team is trying to hit, just for reps, for game conditioning, to try and get you as ready as humanly possible. So in the early going, this early 7-on-7, I'm like, really had one nice grab, Restrepo had a couple of good catches in the middle of that, a couple of good reps against the Bucs defense, but for the most part, I'm like, oh, they're missing. They're not communicating super well out here. And then we got into the team, and what I saw from Cam Ward and team was highly impressive. I saw him under pressure, Yaya Diaby screaming off the edge at him. Dan Moore getting pushed back a little bit by the Bucs pass rusher, getting pushed back a little bit into Cam Ward. Cam Ward hanging in there, waiting for Gunnar Helm to break open on the scene, sees Gunnar Helm start to break open, lets the ball go before Gunnar Helm gets to a point where he's open, and then hits him on a rope. Absolutely line drives it to Gunnar Helm for what would have been a first down conversion. Getting backed up, getting pressured, handles his shit. All right, first down, keep it moving. I saw him throw a nice ball to Calvin Ridley on third down to move the chains in a 2-minute drill. I thought him in the low red zone today. Red zone has been a struggle for them on the whole. And this is not to say that they were perfect. They were not perfect in this practice. But I think that there were a couple of different things here. That you saw and you said, okay, that's better than it was the last time I saw it. Or that's an incremental improvement here. Or that's just flat out impressive. That's the kind of day-to-day work that these guys are putting in and that they're asking of Cam Ward. You're going to make mistakes. Just make sure that you make them less egregious the next time around, or that you clean it up as much as humanly possible and put yourself in position to succeed. Jack Longley says, wait a second, Buck. Are you saying we have a quarterback that shows flashes of pocket presence and anticipation? Those may be firsts for Titans quarterbacks in my lifetime. Steve had presence, right? Like Steve could handle the moment, and Steve would make plays with his legs. And Cam is not Steve, right? He's smaller. He's not as fast as Steve McNair. He's not as physically impressive or traitsy as Steve McNair was. But some of those comparisons, some of those unbothered components of the mental element of the game, and it is such a mental game. I'm having Brian Callahan on the radio show tomorrow. And we're going to talk a lot about this. In fact, I'm the only person that gets to talk to Brian Callahan after practice because we talked to Brian Callahan before practice, and many of us were butthurt because, like, what are we going to ask the coach about before you guys have had an opportunity to practice other than, hey, Brian, how was the flight? What are you guys going to do today? Okay, thanks. See you later. See you on Saturday. But they have been kind enough to accommodate me for the radio show, and I'm going to slide over to the team hotel a little later and tape this interview with Brian Callahan. So we'll get to talk about what happened today at practice with the head coach, and it'll be the only place that you can hear it. Tomorrow on 104.5 The Zone will probably run it at 12:20. 1:20 here in Tampa if you guys are in the Eastern time zone like I am right now, but 12:20 back at home for those of you who listen to the radio show. Or if you listen to the podcast, it'll be in the third hour of the show. So all that to say that Cam Ward impressed me with the way that he battled through it. And that's my Two Rivers Ford take. And the question that I'd ask you is, what were you most looking to see from the Titans in joint practices with the Bucs? It's your Two Rivers Ford take. Quality American-made Ford vehicles can be found at Two Rivers Ford. Award-winning customer service. Go to Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com for more details. They will put you in position to succeed. Employee pricing for everyone, over 40 years in business, and making sure that they make the car buying process fast, easy, and more fun for each and every one of you. Go to Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. Your Two Rivers Ford take is, what were you most looking to see? I don't know if y'all can hear this rain. This rain is crazy in the background. I'm going to see if I can unblur my background so you can see the literal river of water that is running down my hotel window while we try to do primetime. I'm sorry, I keep looking back, but it's getting louder. I'm like, oh my God, is my window about to come in? Anyway, so what were you most looking to see from or learn from Titans joint training camp practices today? For me, it was Cam Ward. I thought he was excellent. Let me not use that word. I thought that he responded in an excellent fashion. He himself was not excellent today, but I love the response. The response itself is excellent because it speaks to the mental part of who he is and the thing that is ultimately going to make him the most successful in the NFL, which is, yeah, I threw a pick. I threw a pick to Hassan Reddick. He threw a pick to Hassan Reddick today in the 2-minute drill. And the Bucs fans, rowdy as hell, packed in this facility. It was awesome. It was really cool. Bucs fans, we've done a couple of joint training camp practices down here, and I'm very impressed with the atmosphere that Tampa Bay has created. And I know that they're a division winner and they had Tom Brady for a while, but it's 50 years of Bucs football. Like, they care about their football team that way. So the energy and atmosphere of practice was great. So Cam Ward throws this pick. This is after the fight. There was a fight today. I'm sure you read a little bit about it. But I think that you are in a position where for the Titans, you've got a young team and you want to see them tested and you want to see them in an adverse situation. You want to see them respond. You want to see them tested both on and off the field. You want to have them. You want to have them hear people talking shit to them. You want to see them make a mistake, Cam Ward make a mistake, and then have to respond because the defense is celebrating and dancing around and holding the football up in the air and the crowd's going crazy and the music's blaring and all these different things that you'll have at a game, right? When you're on the road at Denver, team that is vying for Super Bowl contention, or at least to hear Sean Payton tell it, they're vying for Super Bowl contention this year with a team that's got one of the best defenses in football and a guy who could have been the rookie of the year, the offensive rookie of the year, had Jaden Daniels not had the best campaign I think I've ever seen a rookie quarterback had in Bo Nix. Bo Nix actually threw more touchdown passes than Jaden Daniels did, but obviously Jaden Daniels adds a different dimension with his game on the ground. So, rowdy crowd in Tampa. So he throws this pick after the fight, and the crowd goes nuts, and they're talking shit. And Jarvis Brownlee's getting into it with fans on the sideline, and all these different things are happening right now. And then so, Cam Ward comes over, and he's same guy, same unbothered guy the whole way through. And he looks at Chigaconko and he says, okay, I threw a pick. I'm probably going to throw a pick in another game. Like, shit's going to happen. Let's go back and get him this next play. And that's exactly what they did. And that kind of response is what you are looking for from this player, because the mental part of the quarterback position is going to at least keep you afloat in ways that it sunk you, was an absolute anchor to your football team last year beyond all the other shit that went wrong. This was Cam Ward after practice talking about the day and talking about some of the mistakes that they were able to work their way through.
Things went good. We battled adversity throughout the day, but that's going to come with the game of football. We responded well both sides of the ball. Defense had a good day. We had a good day on offense. So I'm glad, we got some good work versus a good team.
As an offense, how much better did you feel it got after that initial kind of feeling things out?
Real better. We way better just in terminology, just in communicating with each other up front in the receiver room, them seeing what I see on the field. And I just think the more reps that we get, which we're getting now, the better it's going to become game time as we get into the season.
How good was it to be able to face a defense that doesn't know what you're doing? Like Cody Barton, he had the interception, he knew where the ball was going. You're not facing a team that did that today.
I think it's real good. This is one of the best defenses out there in the league. So they gave us some good work. They stopped us a couple of times. We had some explosives on them. So I think both groups today got better.
Tyler talked about the plan being kind of take what they give you. They're a difficult team to figure out shots against. How much do you feel like you stuck to that, more successful with that?
I think as a whole, 1, 2s, and 3s, we stuck to that the whole day. Just taking what they give us. BA, Tim making plays when they're in. And then me just sticking to the game plan, trying to stay above the chains. I'm not trying to do too much unless I have to, and then just put the ball in the receiver's hands up to make plays.
Is it frustrating ever to not be able to take one, or you just kind of know?
It's not really frustrating because at the end of the day, it's going to happen. It's just about when it happens. You can't force it. You just got to let it come to you.
How many of those guys? Something started clicking for you in the red zone. It seems like you're getting a little more comfortable in those short yardage situations.
Oh yeah, it is starting to click. And it's really just coming with more reps that I get, seeing different looks, and knowing where the ball needs to go versus a certain look. And then I also got, good receiving core with Red, Van, and Lockett, even the backups and Chim. They help me out a lot just watching film with me, letting them know what I see on the field and where I need them to get to. So I'm excited to where we're going to go, and I'm just ready to keep building this relationship we got.
How many guys on that team do you know, and what are they saying during and maybe after?
Talking about the Bucks?
Right.
I knew a couple. I knew of a couple.
Yeah.
I never met them in person till now. Got a chance to chop it up with Tez, one of the receivers. But I mean, that's a good group right there. The Bucks, they're a playoff team. We're trying to get to a playoff team this year. Hopefully, if the time comes to it, we'll get a chance to play them in a real game this year.
Have they told you how many series you might play on Saturday?
No, I'm listening to Coach Callahan. I'm ready to play the whole time if I need to. But this is also a big evaluation, not only for myself, but for the whole team. I'm ready to make plays when my number's called.
How excited are you for that opportunity to get out there for the first time, like the real stuff?
I'm real excited to just be on the grass again, to just really put everything that I work for out there, and just try to lead my teammates and try to get a win out there.
How are things coming along for you?
So that is Cam Ward speaking after practice today. And it's just, he's just so about the business of football, right? And that, like I said, you can't win a Super Bowl just because you're about the right shit. But it is going to equip you to do so many things that somebody who does not have the right mindset, so much of that is mindset, right? And not that I would ever compare anybody to Tom Brady, but the thing that makes Tom Brady special is nothing physically about Tom Brady, right? It's just that he works harder and that he cares more. And that I mean, I know Brady recently got some shit because he was questioning Scotty Scheffler's like work-life balance and like, do you actually want enough when you're talking about how much time you're spending with your kids? And then, Brady famously divorced from Giselle because he cared more about football than I mean, not to be shitty about it, but like kind of cared more about football and winning at football and being great at football than he did about his family. And the person that was in his life that way was not appreciative of that. Now, you don't have to be like that level of insane, although he is the greatest for a reason. But if you have some version of that, some just the quote that went viral from his press conference on, I think that was Sunday or Saturday, where he was talking about, yeah, I don't talk to anybody. I talk to my parents. I talk to my dog. I talk to my teammates. That's about it. I go home. I'm in the house. I'm here. Like, it's just all he does. That's all he cares about. That's all he wants to do. It's going to give you as many opportunities to be great that way because you're just going to outwork everybody. You're just going to care more about this thing. And that's really, genuinely, the thing that stands out the most about Cam Ward. Titans fans were upset because of I mean, Titans fans get upset about a lot of things. Some of you guys can be a little overly sensitive, but that's okay. We still love you most of the time. But like the lack of Cam Ward coverage or overwhelming Cam Ward coverage. But what if he's just boring? And I mean that in a good way. Like, what if he just wants to work and like, yeah, he raised the right way and put into work and goes about his business and that's all there is to him. Like, well, what if that's the best thing about him is that he is boring in every other aspect except that he just wants to be great? It's one practice, right? It doesn't mean that he's going to be Tom Brady or win a Super Bowl or do all these different things. But I am just so impressed with him being so locked in that way. Because I see him make these mistakes and he's surrounded by a bunch of people who have been losers. And I mean that, not that like Chigakonkwo is personally a loser or J.C. Latham is personally a loser, but guys who had collegiate success but have come to a shitty football program and have been suffocated by a culture of losing, who have a little PTSD that like, oh my God, the quarterback threw an interception. How much worse is it going to get beyond just the interception? Because that's what last year was. Like, that seeps into everybody, the coach, the players. Cam Ward doesn't come in here with that baggage. In fact, he's here to reset the board. And that to me is such a valuable asset because he's going to have to dig some of these guys out. He's going to have to help some of these guys rewire their brains from what last year was, right? That triggering phrase in week 2 for so many of you, because you've never heard a quarterback say a thing like that. It's insane, even if it's true. So I continue to be impressed with him on a day-to-day basis. I don't know how far that's going to take him. We don't have to make any grand proclamations about who Cam Ward will be or won't be, but that he is going about the process of trying to be great and trying to turn this shitty football team around, the shitty football program around from how bad it's been, how bad they've made themselves. They've brought in at least one person who is capable of turning this thing in the right direction. So I think that for the sake of you guys, you're going to be really proud of who this person is and how this person represents you, even if it's just a little boring that way. All right. So, weekend bounce back. Who needs to bounce back this weekend on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch? It don't really feel like a weekend because it's, 4:48 your guys' time, while I'm here in Tampa hanging out before with a day to kill. We're going to do the radio show tomorrow, like I mentioned. Brian Callahan going to be a part of that too, and we'll look forward to talking to the coach about a variety of different things, including what the plan is for Cam on Saturday in the preseason game. How much he gives us, I have no idea, but we're at least going to ask. So, who needs to bounce back most this weekend? Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, wherever you are spending your time with us, do so or let me know in the comments section. We will discuss at length together right after I remind you that the Primetime program is made possible by TrueMath Fitness in the Gulch, where you go for your first workout free as a Middle Tennessee resident. No workout ever recycled or repeated. TrueMathFitness.com there to help you achieve your fitness goals, no matter what level of fitness you may be, or no matter how intimidating it might feel to try and get back into the habit of working out. It is a habit, but once you get there, it is so rewarding. And so I never in my life did I enjoy working out until I started going to TrueMath, and they completely changed the way that I think about things because they changed how I feel on a day-to-day basis. The noticeable improvements, just how much diet is a part of this, like all the different elements that they provide to you to make sure that you can go above and beyond and achieve your fitness goals. Go to TrueMathFitness.com for your first workout free. All right, who needs to bounce back most in sports this week? I'll give you mine, and then we'll read some of y'all's here in just a second. Jerry Jones saying all kind of stupid shit. He keeps saying stupid shit. It's his football team. He can say as much stupid shit about his football team as he wants to, but it doesn't mean that's not stupid.
It's my understanding nothing was put in writing. So how would you describe a deal getting, so to speak, done and then walked away from?
I bought the Dallas Cowboys with a handshake. Took about 30 seconds, and I gave the number, shook hands. The details we worked out later. As a matter of fact, one of the details involved a lot of money, and we had to flip a coin over that. But the fundamental, I'm buying, and you're going to sell it to me for that range, that's done. And those are done with eye contact and handshake.
So was there...
So just so you understand why the way that I communicate with people that I negotiate with. So but let's leave it at that. There is no question that in the case of a player contract, you have to have it in writing. All parties do. We have a contract in writing, yet we're still talking about renegotiating it. So much for that.
So what's the sticking point for you right now at this point?
Again, there are no point. There's points of varying degrees of influencing, not having something done, but nothing that I would say is out of the ordinary.
Jerry, man, I get that that's how he bought the Dallas Cowboys, okay? And I get that that's how he thinks he needs to do business. But what I don't get is him not being able to take feedback and being like, yeah, Jerry, that was 100 years ago. Shit changes. The deals that you are negotiating deals that are almost in the ballpark of what you paid, like individual player deals that are almost in the ballpark of what you paid for that football team in the first place. It's crazy. Crazy. Jerry Jones, man. I feel for Cowboys fans because it's his team. He gets to do what he wants with it. But I mean, just should he be allowed to run it into the ground the way that it feels like he's doing? I don't know. I mean, you can't force him out unless you're Dan Snyder and you're a horrible, horrible person who's covered up years and years of toxic workplace culture and sexism and racism and all manner of other things that were associated with Dan Snyder's existence that took a congressional subpoena to finally get him to sell the team, not get forced out, but to sell the team, make more billions off the team, and then go somewhere and hide out in the south of France. Curtis says it's time for his son to take over. Man, his son says as much stupid shit as he does. He's just not, they don't talk to him as much. Stephen Jones had a quote either this week or a couple of weeks ago saying, well, Micah's got to want to get paid. What do you mean he's got to want to get paid? What kind of dipshit approach is that? He's got to want to get paid. Of course he wants to get paid. What do you think this is? That's your negotiating tactic? Well, in not so many words, yeah, he should just be happy with what we're willing to offer him. But respectfully, and I don't know Stephen Jones from Adam. know people that know Stephen Jones or cover Stephen Jones or all this, and he may be a wonderful person other than that, but like, buddy, respectfully, if I was on the other side of a quote like that, I would tell him to eat shit. And no way. That's like that, on a much, much lower level. Like I have 3 different contracts with 3 different companies that pay me to talk for a living. Okay. And if somebody came up to me or the agency that represents me and says, well, yeah, he should really just be happy with what we're willing to offer him. I say, oh. I would say some words that I cannot say on this streaming platform. And that's for a significantly less amount of money than Micah Parsons is negotiating for. I mean, God. Charles says maybe they offer you a bag to cover them with the Cowboys. I mean, that's the beauty of the Fox thing. Like now that Fox is paying me to do national radio from home, I can talk shit about whoever I want to on a national platform and get to do it from the comforts of my home, which I very much appreciate. But God, I cannot imagine somebody being so thick mentally that they would say, you should just be happy with what we're willing to offer him. Take a lap. Both of them. God. Anyway, that's going to do it for us tonight or this afternoon, I suppose, on primetime. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us as always. We will have, like I said, Brian Callahan on the radio show tomorrow. Looking forward to that. We will record that. I'm going to go to the team hotel. They're going to set us up in a conference room, and me and Brian will knock that out in the morning. We will bring that to the radio show in the noon hour. Greg Cosell, couldn't tape with Cosell today because I had joint practice, so we will tape Cosell tomorrow. That will also be available to you on the 104.5 The Zone's YouTube channel, so it'll be 3 hours. Coach Mack will be a part of it. Be a great, by the way, happy birthday, Coach Dave McGinnis of Titans Radio. We love our buddy Mac, him and Lee Corso. Superstar birthday today. Anyway, have a great rest of your evening. Talk to you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. on 104.5 The Zone.